Hi, I'm Lou Ann Hunt, and welcome to a red-hot edition of Lynchburg 360. Did you know that Steven Spielberg was a college dropout who used to sneak onto movie sets before he finally got his big break directing Jaws? James Cameron was a truck driver who taught himself the art of special effects before going on to direct blockbusters like Titanic. Are you the next big Hollywood director just looking for your first big break? Here's your chance with a 48-hour film competition.
The 48-hour film project is an international filmmaking movement. It takes place all around the world each summer, and the goal of the 48 is to create a short film that's 4 to 7 minutes long in a weekend. So everything happens during that time, and each group is given a prop, a line of dialogue, and a character that they have to include, and then they choose their genre out of a hat at a determined location that Friday night. So nobody knows if they're making a romance or a sci-fi or a drama until they show up, and that's what makes it so exciting because it's very unpredictable. The teams are comprised of local residents who are amateurs, they're high school students, people who are faculty at different colleges. We had representatives from Liberty and Randolph, but we also had some people come from out of town, which is great. And so it's centralized in Lynchburg, but anyone is welcome to participate. And so it's a great community event, but it's also an opportunity for people outside of the region to come here to create.
We did a 48-hour film festival about 7 years ago in the past, and one of the biggest things we learned from that one was the importance of organization and the importance of roles. I think it's very important to still remember that for anything to work, you need to have the basic structures from leadership and also down for each individual role. So I think that's one key factor in forming a team, is being able to each person own a role and take it, and not think that one is more important than the other. They're all super valuable.
Rob Preston with Ward's Rob Ward with Preston Services.
When I talked to the 48-hour film project, I told them that there were a lot of talented people here, but I didn't know all their names. A lot of the filmmakers in Lynchburg were hidden in little corners, some downtown, some near Forest. I didn't know where they all were, but I hoped if I put something out there that they would just appear, and they did.
Please, just let me spend some time with my daughter.
Get out of my house.
Mallory,
leave!
Hey, sweetie. Come on, come with Daddy, all right?
I need to call the police.
And from a small community, we had a large number of teams, I think, for our first year. And it was amazing to see how much talent came out too. From high schoolers that were involved, to college students, to amateurs, to professionals that were involved. And the quality of content that came out was really impressive, and it was really inspiring. And we were glad to be a part of it, to help us just do something creative and fun in a segmented period of time, and it helps to reduce the perpetual perfectionism and procrastination that results, as you can't do that. 48 hours, you have to get it done, and it really is for anybody that wants to be a part of it. If they have a camera or can borrow a camera and a computer somewhere, then they can be a part of it.
It was incredible to see people not only create something that they were proud of, but support other people in the process. Typically with film, it's very, it can be aggressive. It can be very competitive because not many people get to be successful in film. But you don't have that with this. This is about community. This is about supporting each other. This is about celebrating the fact that Lynchburg is home to talented people, and you can create something and still support the creative person next to you.
It was then, that day, I didn't take the pills. I didn't need the pills.
I think the city being involved, along with like a powerhouse like LaShonda at Life Focus, I think that was just an amazing thing to bring this here. And I think we did better than many of the bigger cities too. And it showed, I think, at the screening in Los Angeles. So.
This year's event will take place August 7th through the 9th. Last year, I realized that it was great to have it the first week in August because Lynchburg is kind of dead. However, when we do the screenings, people are back in town. So August 7th through the 9th is when the films will be made. August 19th is when all the films will be shown. So if you finish on time, you'll see it on that screen. And at that moment, I'll let people know if they won an award. They won't know which one, but they'll know that they won an award. And so the following week, they'll screen again.
One of my heroes in film right now, Gareth Edwards, he got started, he was just a visual effects guy on TV, kind of doing low budget TV stuff. And he decided to do a 48-hour festival. And he won that one, and then he went on to just make a very, very low budget feature film that got him notice. And then he got some sit downs with important people, and the next thing you know, he was doing Godzilla. And now he's scheduled to do a Star Wars movie and another 2 Godzilla movies. And it all started with a 48. So I really appreciate LaShonda and the city of Lynchburg and the area and the community for really coming together to provide such a great opportunity, because you never know where the next big director is going to come from. And even if a big director doesn't come from it, there is a value and satisfaction that comes from just being able to come together and to do a creative project that other audiences will want to see, whether it's just your neighbors and family and community, or whether one day it's going to be the world.
While the film competition takes place in August, there's plenty of fun things to see and do during the month of July. Here's a quick list of what's going on. Whether you've lived in Lynchburg all of your life or you're a new arrival to the Hill City, finding out important information like garbage pickup, school districts, and where to vote used to be pretty time-consuming. But now, thanks to the folks in the city's Information Technology Department, all that info and more is just a click or 2 away. Sean Conway is here to explain the new tool, My City Services.
Hello, my name is Sean Conway. I'm a GIS specialist with the City of Lynchburg's IT department. And today I'm going to be giving a presentation about an exciting new application called My City Services that we just recently launched. My City Services is a service-based catalog which provides information about 30 different city facilities, services, and other related information regarding property. To access My City Services, you can go to the city's website at www.lynchburgva.gov. You can access it from a couple of different locations. On the left-hand side of your screen, there's a permanent link for My City Services. One of the other locations that you can find My City Services is by going to the top menu, hovering over Services, and selecting My City Services GIS application. And we'll go ahead and we'll click on that. One of the unique things about My City Services is that it only requires a location to be able to provide you with all the information you need. The easiest way to do that is just to provide an address. So for this example, we'll just go ahead and use City Hall, which is 900 Church Street. Once you've typed in your address, just hit the OK button. And what the application is going to do is it's going to zoom you to the address that you provided, and it's going to present you with all the information that you need about city services and facilities, and even some property information. We'll just go over the application real quick. It's a pretty simple layout. On the left, you'll have a zoom in and zoom out button, which will allow you to adjust the scale of your map. On the map itself, you can click and hold to pan, or single click to identify a location. In the upper right, you'll find a menu And in that menu, you'll have the option to search by address. This is always open by default. It gives you the opportunity to search for additional addresses after your initial search when the application loads. You can always close this if it's in your way and reopen it again. The second tool is the locate tool. And this tool will allow you to zoom to your current device's GPS location, and this requires your device to have your GPS enabled. The third option is to change the background. This allows you to switch between the default base map, which is streets, and imagery, which will load 2011 aerial imagery. And to switch back, simply just click the option again and choose streets. Down at the bottom of the application, you'll see our results section, and it's made up of two different components. One is your service catalog or your service menu, which is presented as a series of tabs across the top. You can click on a different option to choose the services, to see the services or facilities in that group. And each one of these is called a pod, a service pod, and they're on a carousel, which means you can scroll to the right or scroll to the left to see additional services. Once you found a service or information that you're interested in, you can just click on the header for the pod. The information will be loaded on the map, and details will be provided to you within the table. One of the unique things about My City Services is that it really serves as a launching point for additional information. So you'll see in this example, you're presented with the zoning for City Hall's property. It also provides a link to what that zoning is. It'll give you a link to the ordinance details in case you need to know more about Central Business District B4 zoning. In addition to the information provided in the table, in the upper right of each pod, you'll notice that there are 3 additional links. The first one is for additional information, which will link you to the city's website for the zoning information in this case. There's also an email link, which will allow you to contact someone regarding zoning. There's also a link to the Citizens First request desk, which you can submit a request to Citizens First for additional information. And these buttons are common to each pod, so you'll be able to find this information for each pod, and the links and emails will be unique to each set of information. Another unique feature about My City Services is that it provides directions to city facilities. So by clicking on Recreation and Attractions, we can see recreation access points. This is a list of all the recreation access points sorted in order of how close they are to City Hall. By simply clicking on the first option for Jefferson Street, it'll zoom us to the Jefferson Street location, as you can see up here on the map. If I need to know how to drive there, I can click the little car icon to get driving directions. And My City Services is going to try to route you the most efficient route to the park access. Once the route's completed, you can print the directions, step-by-step directions. To get back to the list of facilities, you can just hit the back button, and you'll see the original list again if you wanted to look at other facilities. So as you can see, My City Services is a unique application that we hope meets the needs of our residents, business owners, and members of the professional community in Lynchburg. It offers access to a wide variety of information from property and development all the way to health and human services. It's truly a one-stop shop for any type of information you need regarding city services, facilities, or other information about your property. And we hope you take advantage of it, and please feel free to contact us. You can find our contact information in the upper right if you have any further questions.
If you're looking to grab a bite to eat for lunch, it's easy to hit up one of those many fast food chains in the area. But if you want something that's healthy and local too, there's a great new place in one of downtown's oldest buildings. I'm here with Sean Bailey. He's the owner of Chris, which is in downtown Lynchburg. Sean, tell us a little bit about why you selected this location in downtown Lynchburg for your restaurant.
Well, we operated a food truck here over the course of last year and generated a nice, loyal following. And we're looking for our next move when actually the owners of this building approached us about doing something in this spot. And you know, we look around, see what's happening downtown, definitely want to be a part of the growth here. And this is a concept that Annie and I have had on our back burner for a long time. It just seemed like the perfect place to do it. And so, the rest is history.
Well, tell us a little bit about the menu here at Chris.
So basically, we sell big salads. We let you build your own, or you can choose one of our chosen salads. We can do any of those salads as a wrap. We also do soup, fresh made juice, and smoothies. Basically, we feature a bar with 50+ ingredients, including steak, salmon, chicken, falafel, 4 kinds of cheeses, 6 kinds of fruit, and we basically make sure that everybody gets the freshest ingredients possible, local and organic when it's feasible, and let people build it exactly how they want it.
Now, this also is a opportunity for the vegans and also vegetarians to get a good meal.
Yeah, absolutely. We realized that there was a hole here in Lynchburg for people who are looking to eat healthier, or the vegan-minded people. There's just not many options for the health-conscious crowd here in Lynchburg. And it's a national trend. I mean, you see it happening in every city. So we felt like the void was there and somebody had to fill it. And so that's why we started Crisp.
Tell us a little bit again about some of the ingredients that you have, some of the unique things that you carry here.
So, you know, we carry all of the same stuff you'd find in any salad bar, but the truth is these places that offer a salad can only go with a certain kind of ingredient because they sell it by the weight. So we have a different pricing system that allows us to offer a lot more. So then, we have all the typical stuff you'd find in any salad bar: chickpeas, carrots, tomatoes, cucumber, lettuce. But we also try to always feature local organic ingredients, some that we only offer on a weekly basis. Like right now we have candy cane striped beets from Liberty Campus Garden. We have a spring mix from Lynchburg Grows. We carry local carrots, local cucumbers. We make all of our juice from organic, mostly local ingredients except for the orange juice. So, we keep all the interesting things, all the normal things you'll find, but we always feature local and organic stuff as well.
Besides the local growers that you all are supporting, why is it important to have these local ingredients in your salads?
Well, a number of reasons. One, it's just better quality in general. I mean, if you're ordering any of these other ingredients, especially produce, for the most part, it's all coming from major food suppliers from California, grown on these huge operations. And frankly, they lose something in that process. So the quality by and far is better, but also you want to support local industry. I mean, we're local and we're looking for other locals to support us. And frankly, it's fashionable too, because it just makes sense. I mean, in a time when we're dealing with so many issues related to the environment, going local helps your environment. I mean, if you're drinking Fiji water and they're shipping it to you from thousands of miles away, there's a lot of energy that goes into that. And that energy in the consumption of these fuels that gets that water to you has a negative impact on the world.
Now tell us a little bit about your orange juice.
Yeah, so basically we feature a ZoomX juice machine. It juices 40 oranges a minute. It's a machine you can see around South Florida, you can see all through Europe, but you just don't see it in other parts of the States very much, so people are always interested when they do. But you just stick all the oranges in top and you press a button and it makes fresh squeezed orange juice within seconds, and you won't get a fresher cup of orange juice in Virginia.
And you can eat right here at the restaurant or take it with you.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people take it with them, but we also have some seating available, including seating outside. So if they want to eat here, it's available. Also, we are actually building out the other side of the first floor of the Allied Arts building, so we'll have additional seating, hopefully within a month or two.
Speaking of the Allied Arts building, it's one of Lynchburg's architectural gems downtown. Was that some of the appeal?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you see this building from the front, it's beautiful. If you walk into the lobby, the building itself is a work of art. And in fact, when we got this space, they asked us to try and stay very true to the Art Deco theme of the building. And I think they were a little hesitant when we started coming up with the color schemes for our place, because we keep it very bright. But we made these beautiful Art Deco stained glass windows just to try and keep true to the art. That was a bit of our compromise. And we think that we've added to the charm of the Allied Arts building, and it definitely helps the charm of this place. There's no doubt about it.
The plans for the New Virginian Hotel, which is just right across the street, must bring some kind of excitement to you as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we realize that this block needs revitalization, and you see it happening on Commerce and on Main Street, and it's just a matter of time before it comes to church. And we could use all the retail space, a little more foot traffic. We think it's going to be a boon to our business, and we're excited that they're doing what they are doing.
Well, it sounds like people have no problem getting some great food in Lynchburg now.
Yes, well, it's getting better. I still feel like there's a little too much of the same old thing. But you take a look around. There's some very interesting things popping up, which I think is a very good sign for Lynchburg.
If you like to garden, you know the value of composting, but even if you don't have a green thumb, composting is still a great way to reduce waste and save some money. Our friend Kevin Cam from the Virginia Extension Office is here to show us how it's done.
Hey there, my name's Kevin Cam. I'm with Virginia Cooperative Extension. I'm the extension agent for the city of Lynchburg in both 4-H and agricultural and natural resources.
My name is Huey Tran. I'm the farm manager here at Lynchburg Grows, a 6.8 acre urban farm right behind the Hillcat Stadium. And we're here to talk to you about compost.
A lot of people may think that they can do compost. A lot of people might have some questions about compost. Well, what Huey and I are going to do today, we're going to give you some information about composting, the ins and outs, if you will, and then you're going to decide whether it's good for you. Composting is the biological decomposition of organic material into a humus-like substance called compost. The process occurs naturally, but it can be accelerated and improved by controlling environmental factors. People may wonder, why should I even bother composting if everything organic decomposes eventually anyway? Well, if raw wastes are directly put into the soil, the decomposition process will rob the soil of nitrogen, which is very important for plants. Finished compost from a pile is typically a more uniform product, sort of like stirring the cake batter up into a bowl with a better balance of nutrients. And it can be used throughout the growing season in many different types of applications. With a pile, composters have more control over adding and mixing the amount of carbon, leaves, and nitrogen, grass clippings, rich materials used to make the end product. A properly controlled composting environment can ensure production of high temperatures needed for killing weed seeds, diseased plant tissue, and pathogenic organisms. If you see this is what you probably see when you're digging in your yard. Good old Virginia clay soil. It's horrible. We all have to deal with it, and how we deal with it is by putting fertilizers, nitrogen down in our yards to make sure that the plants that we grow healthy and strong and sturdy and long lasting. But you bring compost in and you're starting to get a darker color. And when I think of compost, when I say darker, I'm talking about dark. It looks sort of like a crushed up chocolate cookie. And that's good soil. That tells me that there's organic matter in there, that it's full of nutrients. It's offset on pH, so in our clay soil, it's going to neutralize a lot of that, and by putting it in and ingraining it into our soils, eventually our soils will get better and better, darker in color, produce more vibrant plants, turf grass, vegetables if you will, without spending all of the money on fertilizers and nitrogens. Where do your leaves go in Lynchburg? Lynchburg is pretty cool when they will collect your leaves at no cost, when you rake them down to the edge of your lawn if you're not interested in composting. One place that it went to a few years ago was here, Lynchburg Grows. Several truckloads would come in. Instead of those leaves going to the landfill and then doing nothing after breaking down, Lynchburg Grows would be using those leaves as leaf mulch and then broken down into compost, such as this. But this is pre-screened. This is stuff that has come from homeowners' yards. So that's the importance of why we have to screen and make sure that what we're putting in our compost is the good stuff. Things like this do not break down. Organic matter, anything that comes from plant materials usually can get broken down, such as bones, plastic, bottles, and other trash, aluminum, that won't break down. So don't put that in your compost pile. It's not just the trash. If it comes out of the ground, more than likely it can be composted. Eggshells, coffee grounds, that's the good stuff. But we just want to make sure that no trash gets in there because it won't be broken down and then you don't want it in your ground.
This is an example of a compost bin that's been here about 7-8 years. We've been feeding it scraps from the farm, but you could also use scraps from your kitchens. Banana peels, onion peels, just things you'd either chop up and just throw away, but any organic matter will do. Some things we don't want to do is potatoes, things that might regrow themselves inside the compost bin. Over time, a lot of the stuff has broken down into richer, more nutrient-dense soil. And deep down in here, we're actually practicing vermiculture, which is the actual farming of worms to help break down the soil, but also add nutrients as they breed and waste inside the bin.
So in this example right here, Huey's got some old plant matter that can be broken down. What he's doing is just breaking it up, and eventually it's going to get ingrained with the compost pile. Now when you think about it, composting, all it is just covering it up. It's sort of like making a lasagna. You put your noodle layer on, you put your sauce, then you put your cheese, and then you repeat that over and over again. Also, when you're moving things around, you're putting oxygen in there. There's tons of microorganisms that need that oxygen that will help with the breakdown of all of this matter. When you also move this around, it leaves pores, it aerates the soil so water can penetrate it. That's another thing that compost piles need, is good water source. You want it to be a pile that is not soaking wet, but just enough wet so you can grab a whole pile of it in your hands and squeeze out maybe a drop of water or two, and that's basically it. And as Huey finishes up with the layering, that's all it is about it. You put your top layer, you're just going to cover it with some compost or some topsoil, and then let the sun, let the water, let the microorganisms and the bacteria in there do the work.
So at the end of last summer, after all the tomatoes have been picked and we picked off all the green tomatoes, we had a ton of vines and leaves and foliage that we didn't have use for within the greenhouses. Well, we brought those out here and layered that with the leaf mulch from the city collection. It would be one layer of brown stuff and then one layer of green stuff, and we'll build up those layers. Less than 1 year later, I have all of this broken down compost that is perfect for planting. I'm right now filling my raised beds with this, and for the most part, it's all broken down into rich soil for future planting. At $10 a truckload, Lynchburg Grows has piles and piles and piles of broken down leaf mulch that you can start your compost layers with. We've built mounds here, a lot easier than the turning compost bins, where you can just lay down the leaf mulch, put in your kitchen scraps, and then do continual layers of leaf mulch and kitchen scraps until about, after enough turns, it's broken down into planting material for your home garden.
This is one example of how compost can be screened. This is a larger screen. Of course, this is one that Lynchburg Grows uses to screen out their compost. So how this works, a homeowner has a truck or even a landscaper pulls their truck in, backs in right here, and then a front loader will dump the compost on top of here. It gets sifted out, and then Joe homeowner can just take his truck and go on to his house and put it on his plants. Well, thanks for joining us today. Hopefully you got some information if you're ever interested in doing composting for yourself or just curious about composting. If you have any questions about how to build your own bin, what to do, what's the ratios, what should you do with your grass clippings or leaves, give me a call at the extension office at 434-455-3740. Some of our master gardeners could come out and do a home visit with you. I could come out and we can help you out in that.
Yeah. Or come down to Lynchburg Grows and check us out. We're at 1339 Inglewood Street in Lynchburg, Virginia.
That's it for this edition of Lynchburg 360. We'll be back next month with more fun things to see and do all around this great city. Until then, don't forget to take some time and enjoy the view.